Good evening. Welcome to the Bitter Knitters podcast. It is Monday, April 23rd, 2018. My name is Jacqueline. Arthur's here.
Hey.
Ryan's here.
Hi.
Somber day today.
Yeah,
as you know, horrible things happen every day in this world.
Yep.
There was a lot of sad deaths over the weekend in the celebrity entertainment world, but there was an attack here in Toronto. A guy in a van, like we've seen all over the world, drove down the streets, intentionally hitting innocent people just living their lives.
Yeah, it's insane. 9 dead so far, 16 in hospital. A number of them are in critical, so I guarantee fatalities are going to go up.
5 are critical, as what I think was
right.
the thing I read.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. Like just crazy. But no word on whether there's any links to international terrorism or anything like that. So I would, anybody who's listening that has formulated that opinion, I hope you calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
Before you start making these assumptions.
Trudeau is hugging the jihadists and giving them $10 million.
Yeah, that stuff's really bothering me, and I would.
And you're not a Trudeau supporter.
No, I'm not. I'm not at all. I hate that motherfucker.
But it's ridiculous. You can't blame him for every attack in the world.
I would also like any American listeners that know of this to stop using this to further your gun control debate. Yeah. This has nothing to do with your gun control debate. Yeah. This isn't even in the same realm as your gun control debate. It's actually really disgusting to me how many Second Amendment supporters I've seen today trying to conflate this with the struggle that they're facing with keeping their fucking guns. It's completely deplorable. It's absolutely disgusting. I mean, there's still fucking dead bodies laying on my city streets, and you know what I mean? You're using this to further your own political agenda.
Our brothers and sisters, our countrymen and women are dead.
Yeah.
And Arthur and I still don't want guns to be as readily available as they are in America.
I brought this up before we started the show, and this right here is a glaring example of how and why gun control works. Now, there is a video of the perpetrator being arrested. Now, he was trying to bait the cop into a suicide by cop.
Yeah, he was.
But because here, since we know that not everyone's armed and we don't live in a constant state of fear, that cop was able to subdue that fucking perpetrator without murdering somebody. Somebody is now going to pay for their crime.
Hero of the day. This cop is a hero.
This guy is now actually going to have to pay and answer for his crimes rather than get the easy way out.
Live with this for the rest of his fucking life.
Of a suicide by cop. And to me,
we'll get answers too. Hopefully people talk to us and give us answers.
It's so fucked up. I never in my life ever thought that I would be waiting by my phone, panicking to find out if a loved one of mine was okay. It's fucking disgusting. Yeah. I can't
Thank
believe.
goodness she is. And touch wood, hopefully nobody else we know is affected by this.
It's just the first thought that I had, and I know that this happened in Toronto, was my niece and my sister walk home 5 blocks from my house, from her, the daycare that she attends. And I started to think to myself, because this happened in New York a few months ago. Yeah. And my sister works not too far from where it happened. And it kind of reminds you of what is, as we were talking about it on the air, what is the normal tone now of the world? This isn't an isolated case in Canada, in North America rather. This isn't an isolated case. This is happening all over the world. We hear about the suicide bombers in the cars that happen in Iran, Afghanistan, Iraq. All the time. We're seeing this happen in the Philippines as well, parts of Asia, which is, Philippines is part of Asia. This is a norm. And we have to, I think, as a society, just pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
Because if you don't pay attention, and I'm not trying to spread any propaganda, I'm not anti-car, I'm not anti-gun, I'm not, if you don't pay attention, we really lose the focus on what's going on. You start to listen to the rhetoric of blah, 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 blah. And then, next thing you know, 5 minutes later, there's going to be a bunch of fake stuff going on Facebook. And it's disgusting.
Oh, that already. Immediately. Disgusting. I'm seeing memes on Twitter. People claiming they know who did it. Of course, it was a Muslim person. Now CBC is saying the person who did this, their name is Alec Manassan, a 25-year-old man. That's not been confirmed, but to me, he looked like he was in at least his 40s.
40s, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But some people live hard lives. Who knows?
Yeah, that's fair. Could have put some city miles on.
I did see someone on Twitter saying that he was a Armenian Orthodox. I can't confirm that because that was just some Twitter person. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know his motives. We don't, other than to kill people. That was his only motive, and to get himself killed, which he failed at that.
Oh, can we just hold people accountable for what they do and not talk about religion anymore?
No, unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, no.
Not in this day and age.
We can't, because we do have to be wary of religiously motivated attacks. We have to, and we have to be able to call them out for what they are. Now, I'm not saying that this is that. I don't know, and I fucking hate speculation. But you know, during the first little bit, I was on a City News post or CP24 post about this. And there was somebody saying, like, we really, like, they need to release the ethnicity of the perpetrator. And a lot of people are like, why, you're a racist, you're a racist. Like, no. If we know all the facts pretty much right away, then people can't fucking spin it to support their fucking own political bullshit.
Exactly.
And to me, that's like the most, it's the worst part about this, because the second this was being reported on, I seen pro-gun people using it to further their position. I seen anti-immigrant people trying to use that to further their position. I mean, there's dead people on the fucking street, and the first thing you can think of is, oh, how can I fucking
They're not even
my narrative?
Yet.
Right?
We all remember what happened after the Las Vegas shooting. Everybody said it was two Muslim guys. Remember that?
Yeah. But
couldn't be farther from the truth.
But you even look at the mosque shooting that happened last year in Quebec City. How quick the media was to say, no, it was a white Christian male. Now, I just want the same level of honesty regardless, because I'm sick and tired of instantly it becoming a race or an immigration issue. Now, it may have been a fucking refugee or something.
Look at the Boston bombers. Exactly. They look white.
Right? Like,
the one guy was very handsome, but
like,
they were still Muslims and they were still terrorists.
Right? You know, we need, it's the one thing I really do hate about my country's national media is they really do try to hide and confine anything that can stir up the right-wing side of the argument. Now, I kind of understand, because as we know, right-wing groups are normally the most hate-filled and the most capable of committing violence. And that's not to say that people on the left can't, but it kind of is the truth of the matter. Yeah. But instantly, the second I seen this, it was immediately, oh, it's Trudeau and his refugees and all this fucking shit. And it's like, you guys need to calm the fuck down. Like, you need to calm down. No facts are being released. We should probably just be more worried about the fact that, again, there are our dead countrymen are lying on the fucking street right now. You know, like, that to me is the fucking issue here. I mean, the fact that, like, even people fucking died today in some senseless act of fucking violence. And it wasn't an act of violence to further a political agenda, as far as any indication
so far. That we know so far.
Exactly. Like, there's no indication that this was an attack for any type of political motivation. So for anyone to use it as a way to further their own political narrative, to me, is so dishonest.
But can't we just discuss, in a way, I'm not saying this to you guys, I'm saying this in to the listeners, we have to discuss violence as what it is, for face value. It is violence, regardless of the person's race, religion, skin color,
political motivation.
Political motivation.
Exactly. Whatever the contributing factors are. Violence is violence. And,
violence.
You know, there needs to be an attitude change towards, you know, how willing we are to commit violence, especially when we're in a, you know, as we've seen with the Parkland shooting, as far as any indication shows with the Vegas shooting, when people are mentally ill and their initial response is to just get violent. You know, that to me, that's a really big hole in the human psyche. Something that I believe we could probably fucking do away with a wee bit of a culture change. Now, I understand that the term culture change is real scary for a lot of people. It's very scary for a lot of people.
Yeah, the old stock Canadians think culture change means we're going to have, you know, living under Sharia law.
Exactly, right? That's not what I mean in the least. What I mean is that, I mean, again, here in Canada, I personally believe that we already have the level of personal safety. At least we feel safe. Right now,
any day something horrible can happen to you. We're in a very safe country compared to a lot of places in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not afraid to walk down my street and think that I'm going to be killed or stabbed or raped. These things could happen to me.
Yeah.
It can happen. Yeah. That's a realism in even the safest, richest neighborhood in the world. This can happen.
Yeah.
We can't live our lives in fear.
No, absolutely
not. But don't we have proof that that's happening in even the most supposedly safest neighborhoods? As far as I'm aware, in New York City, where that happened, the whole situation that happened over here, that's one of the most, really, New York City in general is one of the safest places to be in.
Yeah, this is the 70s.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of the safest places to be in. But that to occur kind of shows you no one is safe.
No. And for any Canadian to be really shocked and think that we were completely immune, I think was a little naive, I guess is the word.
Absolutely naive. But when you do honestly take a look at our country as a whole, now, yes, we do have some ignorant, fucking hate-filled idiots here.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere. But on a whole, we are really kind to immigrants.
We are.
There's not really a lot of, outward far-right hate groups that you see march on the streets and
that's why when people
like
talk about their refugees, they're happy, they're coming here. Very few are angry at us.
It's kind of really weird to me. And again, it's always some fucking weird false equivalency. It really is.
Well,
all this stuff.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's all good. So you're gonna say?
I was gonna say, let's not forget. One of the safest countries in the fucking world had a huge problem. It was over 70 people died in Norway.
Yeah.
Remember this, guys? This was just a few years ago. You want to talk about safety? One of the most happiest.
Yeah, and he wasn't a Muslim terrorist.
No. But again, Norway has had its issues with homegrown satanic fucking idiots, and I don't use the word satanic in the Christian sense of oh my god, they must be fucking infected with demons. No, these idiots really fucking think they're Satanists.
Yeah.
And but whatever. It's again, this is tragic. It's absolutely fucking tragic. I'm so sad that my country's soil has now been brought into the fray of this fucking bullshit. I'm really, really upset by that. I was, in all honesty, hoping that I could live my life without this stuff ever really touching our soil, because I thought we were better than that. I thought we treated people better than that. But, again, that's only if this is a case of him claiming allegiance to some international terrorist cell. You know what I mean? But all indications are pointing that this is a very disturbed individual.
Yeah, I did read that he was known to police, but that they didn't suspect him of doing something like this. So, it wasn't like when they caught the guy in Southern Ontario that was about to go up to Toronto and start blowing up the Eaton Centre or Union Station, whatever he was going to do. He was on someone's terrorist watch list. They were watching him.
Yeah.
This guy, I don't think was on any international watch list.
No, I
at least so far is what they're saying.
A lot of them are not. A lot of the people who have created,
because they're not real terrorists. They're crazy.
No.
They're crazy, and it's awful to say, but they're mentally ill. And I know people hate to say that, or they're mentally ill when they're white. No, they're mentally ill when they're brown too, and when they're black, and
I jokingly said that on a friend of mine's status about that, and I said, is it terrorism or is it a mentally ill white guy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the thing is, that was a joke statement. Obviously, I don't fucking mean that.
Yeah.
But there's so much validity to that fucking statement. Because that's exactly how the news is going to spin it. Again, irregardless of the political aisle, but to spin one fucking political narrative over another.
Yeah.
And again, as I've been saying, that's just completely fucking dishonest.
We need to shine a light when there is real religious, and I'm not saying Muslim, religious terrorism. Yeah. Whether you're coming from a Catholic, whether you're coming from Armenian Orthodox, whether you're coming Muslim, Jewish, whatever you are, if your religion is the reason you're attacking and killing people, we need to shine a light on it, because not every person in that faith has to be responsible, but they do need to stand up and say, this is not right.
This is not who we are,
And that's the funny thing, is you keep getting people blame, Muslims, but who are the first people to come out and say, hey, we don't fucking condone this shit?
Yes.
It's always them, but of course, anything happens where their skin is, a little lighter than black, but a little darker than white, instantly it's fucking terrorism.
So many of the witnesses we're seeing on the news stations are people of color, and they're in tears, and they're shaking, and they're horrified. Because even if you're a refugee or an immigrant coming from Afghanistan or Pakistan, you're fleeing this shit.
Exactly.
You fled from Syria because you don't want a fucking bomb dropped on you anymore.
Yeah, but now you have to worry about going sitting on a patio and enjoying the first nice day of fucking weather we get. It's absolutely fucking, it's a shame. And
it is.
I just can't believe that my fucking country, the place I love, has fucking been brought into this fray.
Well, really your friend, I know you said you have that one friend who says, just you wait.
Yep. Oh yeah, and then that was the other thing too. All the confirmation bullshit coming from these fucking crazy conservatives. It pisses me off at some points because I do say all the time I'm a conservative, but I can't stand how they think. I can't stand the fact that predominantly conservatives are always waiting for something bad to happen so they can rub it in your face and be like, "See, I told you, I told you, I told you." Like, you shouldn't be hoping for fucking 9 people to die.
No, absolutely not.
To further your own fucking narrative. That's so fucking...
That's sick. I mean, innocent people, what I was reading, witnessing, most of them seem to be young people.
Young people, yep.
You know, we know that a stroller was hit.
Yeah. I mean, that still hasn't been confirmed as far as I've seen.
No. Hopefully they were just pushing their stroller with their groceries.
Right?
Like people do
that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping to fuck like that stroller had nothing in it and it was just being kind of used as a buggy.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it's just so fucking sad. It's so sad. And I mean, just please stop trying to use it to spin a fucking narrative.
Can I also say this about the fucking reporters? I know they're trying to get the news. I know they're trying to get the scoop. I know they're trying to get the lead.
Yeah.
The one guy is saying, I don't want to make a statement. And Artist Zakarian on CP24 kept after him. You dumb bitch. Leave him alone.
Yeah, no, the guy was crying. He was visibly shooken up. You know what I mean? And they continue hounding him.
Like, one person get run down is horrifying.
Here's another thing, though, especially in regards to CP24, and I'm going to call them out explicitly on this. They're one of the news sources in Canada that perpetuate the myth that, you know, something happening to you, like even hateful comments online, can give you PTSD. But yet they want to fucking sit there and grill a guy that just seen a fucking stroller get hit by a van and thrown 50 feet in the air. You know what I mean? Like, they're such fucking hypocrites.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the fact that their news station had all the fucking news on it all the time, I would never give them any traffic. Never.
The same. That's why I stopped watching another station here in Toronto, City TV, because I call it Panic TV. Yeah. Everything was like, you know, the end is nigh when they reported any story. I had to stop watching it. Yeah. And honestly, excuse me, the same thing. If they didn't have their weather and their news scroll on the bottom, I probably would watch CP24 because I really don't like most of the people on it.
No, I mean, again, I don't like anyone perpetuating the bullshit fucking regressive nonsense. And then on the other hand, completely disregarding that when, you know, dealing with someone who truly has just experienced the fucking trauma. Like, that guy literally just watched people get fucking mowed down in a car, and you're showing zero sympathy for him. Yeah. None whatsoever. Now, I understand that even as a consumer of their media, and I want to know the details of what was going on, that's so disrespectful to that fucking man. It's so disrespectful.
It's really bad. I wonder how long until, I don't want to say laws, policies change about renting vans. Like, what kind of, I don't think it's just going to be a credit card and a driver's license anymore.
Well, I'm sorry. You can't ask me for a fucking mental assessment to rent a U-Haul van. You know what I mean?
I'm
like,
not
that just
saying that's going to happen, but like maybe you have to be on like a you know what I mean? Like a pre-list or something like that, where you have to wait 3 days before you can rent a van or something.
Like, possibly. But I don't know. With this being, again, our nation's first foray into this bullshit, I don't think that we're going to jump the gun that quick into
we don't, you know
new legislation and fucking, you know, I mean, I hope not. I mean,
it's very hard enough to rent a vehicle.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, I got to help a friend move this coming weekend. Like, if we don't get the fucking van, I don't know what we're doing. You know,
you might have to shave that beard. You're looking a little terroristy.
Jesus.
And I also say this, not to make light of the situation. I'm really not, because it was a horrible tragedy. That van held up. Whoever made that van, the maker, I don't know if it's a GM or a Chrysler or Ford, that shit held up.
Well, in all honesty, it was hitting soft bodies. You know what I mean? Like, again, not to make light, not to joke, but it was hitting things that are fleshy and kind of, you know, a lot of give.
Yeah, that's true.
It'd be a little different if you drove that into a side of a
building. I heard he was hitting poles and stuff too.
Yeah. It was just so fucked up because, like, when I first heard about it, people thought it was a guy who had a heart attack. They literally thought this man had a heart attack and just lost control.
Too.
Yeah. Honestly. There's no universe, at least here in Canada, would I ever instantly go, oh my God, this has to be terrorist. You know what I mean?
Will,
like,
right?
now I will, which fucking pisses me off. Like, this guy single-handed, like, he accomplished his mission. I'm not scared, but now I'm wary. Now I gotta realistically live my life going, fuck, man, like, it can touch me. Like, it can get to me. Yeah. Where ever since 9/11, I mean, I always felt a lot of pity for the Americans, but I never felt that level of not being safe, you know?
Yeah.
It's such a fucking sad day.
Yeah, it's sad. I'm sure we'll have more to talk about on Wednesday's show when we have more details, hopefully. Let's move on to another horrible story. The Waffle House shooting in Nashville. Yeah. So Saturday night, people are at the Waffle House doing what they do. And it's not one of the hilarious drunk fights. A guy pulls up in his car or his truck wearing only a green jacket, no pants, no shoes, no underwear, and proceeds to open fire. He killed 4 people. Luckily, there was a guy inside whose name was James Shaw Jr. He took the moment when the guy was reloading his gun, jumped on him and grabbed the gun and threw it away. And the guy, what is this crazy guy's name? Do you remember his name?
No, I honestly don't even want to learn it. And like, I'm tired of giving any kind of like anything.
The crazy guy ran away.
Yeah.
Ran home long enough to get a pair of pants and drove off. Now, the horrible thing about this is just last July, he showed up at the White House with guns.
Yeah.
And wanted to have a meeting with the president. They took his guns away from him in July, but he was able to get them back legally.
You know, this one, like, I mean, I don't understand. Even when this one came out and everyone's saying it was racism, I was like, I can't see any argument against that. I mean, it might be a stereotype, but I mean, who does, you know, predominantly fucking use Waffle Houses, you know, as restaurants?
Yeah.
You know, there is a certain racial demographic that does apply to, you know, so it's fucking disgusting. I mean, that guy is a true fucking hero. Like, he literally is. Yeah. You know, I understand that the guy was reloading his gun, so it wasn't a moment of a lull.
But still, you don't know if he's got a handgun in his pocket.
You have no fucking clue. And the fact
he got bad burns on his arms and hands wrestling that gun away. Yeah. He's a hero. The other thing about this guy, this crazy guy, we'll call him, he also believes that Taylor Swift is stalking him and is accessing his email and his Netflix account. This guy has had a history since 2014 of these problems. Now, according to this article, I will say that when he voluntarily surrendered his weapons back in August, his father had a firearm owner's, this is right from the article, firearms owner identification card and a legal right to take the weapons. So his father took the weapons and was promised or swore that he would keep them secure and away from his son. Something's happened. Got them back somehow.
And now so that suspect was caught. He's going to jail. He's going to have to answer for his crimes.
He was caught today. Yep. Okay. Caught without murder, you know, other than the 4 he initially murdered, but nobody else died. And he's going to go to jail and he's going to answer for his crimes. I don't know if Tennessee is a death penalty state.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Most of those southern ones are, so.
Yeah. Still such tragic. It's always really bothered me in those types of instances. Like, these people are doing nothing. Like, they're just, they're out for fucking, you know, their 3 a.m. fucking waffles to, you know,
especially
soak up some of the alcohol.
The lady or the man that worked there.
Yeah.
Because one Waffle House employee died. You were already working a shitty fucking job.
$7.25 an hour and some asshole comes in and murders you.
Yeah.
For what? For what? To further a fucking racial narrative that honestly only lives in the fucking minds of these fucking idiots. Exactly. Like, seriously, it really fucking does. I understand white people. I get it. It's weird fucking having someone point out your flaws and how we're fucking kind of shitty. But it's the fucking truth. We haven't been the coolest fucking people. You know what I mean? Like,
nothing like giving them fucking evidence to back up their theories.
You know what I mean? Like, so just calm this fucking bullshit down. Like, fuck off. It's just the wanted waste of life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the fact that to these people, life is literally meaningless. They don't give a shit. Fuck you. Fuck your family. I don't care that, you know, even in regards to today's incident and the Waffle House incident, he did not give a shit about the families he was about to ruin, the lives that he was about to ruin, the holes in these people that they now have to live with the rest of their fucking lives. They don't care. And it's a compassionate
who knows what
issue.
kind of people are now gone? You know, like one was a promising musician. Like, you know, maybe he was going to be the next Liberace. Why would I say Liberace? Yeah. Maybe he's going to be he or she was going to be the next Beethoven or Mozart or somebody like that. Like, come on.
No, exactly. It's fucked up. I mean, I've always kind of hated how little we value one another. But, you know, I've always seen it in a sense of like, you know, I might walk past you on the street and not give you any attention, but I'd never fucking hurt you purposely.
No, exactly. You know? I might be completely apathetic to other people's existence, but that doesn't mean I wish harm on them. It doesn't mean I wish to kill them.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just it's sad. But I mean, again, I mean, I've seen that case. I mean, that happened the other night, correct?
Yes.
And I have not seen as many people jumping on that bandwagon to further their Second Amendment rights. But this fucking van attack, I mean, the amount of fucking, oh my God, I just cannot believe the amount of people I've seen saying, oh, well, this is the reason why Canada needs guns. Because a good guy with a gun could have shot at that van while he was plowing through fucking public and put an end to this. Yeah, okay, fucking John Wayne, calm it the fuck down.
Somebody's been watching too many like freaking movies.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not John Wick. You don't have the accuracy to be fucking shooting a gun into public. People that are already getting mowed down by a fucking vehicle. You know what should really help the situation? Bullets.
Yeah, we already seen, you know, these trained policemen shooting themselves in the foot or the ceiling or dropping their guns. Like, let's throw in a speeding van.
Right, like that argument really bothered me, and there was a few Canadians I seen making that fucking argument. It's like, you guys are so dumb. Like, this guy is driving into public. What is a gun going to do except for fucking shoot other innocent people? Yeah. Now you are a murderer.
And then when the cop shoots your family member by accident, you're going to then sue the cop and, you know, the city and the country for however millions of dollars because you're, you know, fuck off.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a weird story. The kind of story that we usually talk about more so than these horrible tragedies, unfortunately. This story happens in New York State. So a young woman named Katie, she's 18 years old. She finds her birth family. Her birth parents are still together. She moves in with them within a month. Within a couple weeks, the birth parents are separated but still living together. So they're sleeping in different bedrooms. The birth father starts sleeping on the floor in Katie's bedroom. Birth mother moves out, and shortly thereafter, birth father and Katie start hooking up, get married, and have a baby.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they lied and said they were not related because she had a different name, right? Lied and said they were not related. They were eventually arrested and charged with incest laws, whatever the laws are. They had a baby named Denise. They took Denise away, and I think she went to her, oh no, that was Katie's birth name. They took the baby away, and I think that went to her adoptive parents. And they went for a visit or whatever, and this guy, birth daddy, ends up killing Katie, her birth father, and their baby, and then himself.
Jesus Christ.
That's crazy. And then I have his lawyer in here saying how it's like, you know, it's not ideal that this happened, but, you know, like when you meet somebody and you have this connection and it gets confused because you weren't raised as parents and child, it's okay. And like, no, it's not. If you feel yourself getting sexually attracted, move the fuck out. Okay.
It's your fucking kid.
Yes.
You know, I seen a story about like this a while ago. It happened in the UK. Some chick met her birth father.
Yes.
And they ended up getting married and having kids. And I'm like, what the fuck? And that's what they're saying. Oh, but you know, I didn't grow up with him as my father, so I don't feel that paternal, you know, love or whatever. And it's like, it's still your dad. Like, that's still your fucking father. That is your fucking genetics. And that's just not a good idea.
And then to have a baby, you're going to have like, you know, oh my God.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
But that's really fucked up.
I'm glad to know that there's fucking like anti-fucking incest laws though. Like that's.
At least in New York State.
Right. That's kind of heartening. Like a little bit. Like that actually
is she was from New York State. They were in Virginia. That's where she got married to him. So.
Isn't that where, what the fuck, that Squeal Like a Pig Boy fucking movie took place?
That's West Virginia. I know that because my friend Casey's from West Virginia. We always tease him about West Virginia.
Yeah, I don't know. It was in one of those states, or you know.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Well, they were all around. I'm looking. They got married in Maryland. They lived in North Carolina. So they were all over the place, probably trying to hide the fact that they were married.
That's
as mother or father and daughter.
That's really sick. Really
and then what a horrible life for this poor girl. I mean, she seems to have had an okay childhood from what everybody's saying. But I mean, 18 years old, maybe 19 now because she had a baby and just gone.
Oh fuck. Yeah.
And the child died too. I hate when people do that. You know what? If you want to kill yourself,
do
buddy.
It. Yeah.
Or sister, whoever you are. Don't drive your kids off a cliff. No. Don't drown your kids in the bathtub. Don't jump in front of a train. Don't kill innocent people that have nothing to do with it. Kill yourself. Don't kill your significant other, and don't kill the children. Okay?
Yeah. I've always wondered about the line of thinking that happens with that. And we brought up that like Munchausen or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah. But that obviously can't be in the same ballpark. You know what I mean? This, like, those types of cases, it is a choice. Like, you're choosing to end said child's life. I've never been able to grasp the thinking behind that. My kid's probably better off if I'm in the picture, but I'm going to kill myself irregardless of what the fuck happens. So I might as well kill the kid too. Like, it literally makes no fucking sense to me.
Yeah.
It never has. Like, I've never understood these types of cases.
No, to kill the children. Like, you see this happen so many times, and it's not just men. Women do it too. That's why I'm saying I don't want to just say buddy, You think your child would be so much better off dead than with their mother or father or grandparents or even in the freaking system.
That's very deep.
I'm sure they would want a chance to live.
Exactly.
Very, very deep what you just said. This is why I've spoken about this before. I don't know if I've ever discussed this on the air. I don't want any children because of, first of all, the first two stories we've discussed.
Yeah.
And plus, I don't think I have the mental capacity to handle having a child. Not because I'm selfish, not because I'm this or that.
Not for everybody. Not everybody has to have a kid if they don't want them. Yeah.
It's not for me. It's not for Ryan. Yeah. Honestly.
If only more people, though, would make the same choice that me and you have, though. If only more people would realize that, hey, maybe we're not cut out to be fucking parents before they have the kid and just ruin another person's fucking life.
But we also need people like myself, people that are parents, to not then turn around to Arthur or Ryan and say, oh, you should have kids. Where's your kids? Why don't you have kids? What's wrong with you? Why don't you have kids?
The amount of people I've cut out of my fucking life because I'm tired of them fucking telling me that I have to have children. Go fuck yourself. I don't care. I don't care that I've known you my entire life. I don't care that we even share a fucking name. Fuck you. Don't tell me how to live my life. Like, I understand, like, my neighbor used to always say this after he had his first daughter. Arthur, you'll never understand what it's like to come home after work and have your kid go, Daddy, I missed you. I said, yeah, you're absolutely correct. And you'll never know what it's like to do what the fuck you want, when you want, how you want, at any given time.
I remember those days.
You know what I mean? Like, you
also will never come home, Arthur, to, I hate you, Mom. You're such a bitch. Okay?
Yeah. Right? Like, it's such an empty argument to me. Like, it's such a, like, just don't. And it's just like for everything, stop putting your personal life goals and your life dreams. If you want to be a parent, that's great. Fuck. I mean, I applaud you for being a parent. I know for a fact that I would probably fail at it. And I do applaud fucking parents, but shut up. Like, just shut up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, to me, parents in that sense, and not all, like, this isn't a blanket statement, but at least the ones that we're talking about in this regard, they're almost like Jehovah's Witnesses. Like, they just show up at your door fucking uninvited, giving you their fucking perspective on the world. Like, fuck you. Did I ask your opinion? Yeah. Like, fuck, get off my doorstep.
Yeah, don't assume that they couldn't have a baby. Don't assume that something's medically wrong with them. Some people just don't want kids, and that's okay. Yeah. There's enough people in the world.
Yeah. Well, that's
God, more than enough.
There's this growing sentiment amongst some of the Westerners I know, and I haven't went off about the Westerners in a while, so I guess this one should be fun. they keep fucking saying, no, you got to have kids, Arthur, because they're outbreeding us. I'm like, who's outbreeding me?
Gross.
Oh, well, the Muslims. Where?
So do they
here
have
in Canada?
Because if you want to outbreed them, you better have 10 like the fucking Duggars.
So what he said. So this is what they're saying to me is that here in Canada, the Muslims are outbreeding Canadians, and I said, are they citizens of Canada? Yeah. Then what the fuck are you talking about? They're Canadians. Yeah. No one's outbreeding Canadians if Canadians are having kids,
regardless of the religion. When they say they're outbreeding.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. But I mean, just because our skin color doesn't match doesn't mean that
we're running out of Megans and Beckys, and we're getting more Muhammads and Farahs.
Like, fuck out of here. Like, that right there is the kind of attitude that causes these types of fucking terrorist events.
Yeah.
That type of attitude right there is the reason why the Western world now has to fucking watch our backs when we go for lunch. Like, fuck off. I hate people.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. Well, we have a comment in our YouTube that says Muslims have 3 to 4 children while whites have 1 to 2. That's true.
That's correct.
You will find that usually when those Muslim children have their children, they'll probably only have 1 to 2. Second generations don't usually breed as many as their parents.
It's absolutely correct. But when we're talking landed immigrants, they do actually do have a lot of kids because diversity of code word for white genocide. Fuck out of here, bud. Fuck out of here with that fucking bullshit. I don't need to hear your fucking racist rhetoric. I used to hang out with skinheads. I know the drill. Fuck out of here, you fucking 88 believing motherfucker.
There we go.
Yeah, go fucking hail Hitler elsewhere, you fucking idiot.
But I mean, I do think that now, especially during this time, I kind of have a little bit of a traditional esque idea of relationships. Jacqueline, you and I have discussed this in private many, many times. But I'm completely modern when it comes to having kids. Me personally, this is going to be funny. I come from a big family, huge family. My mom has 8 other siblings, including herself. There's 9 of them. My dad comes, my dad comes from a big family as well. So, and then my mom, there's 4 or 5 of us technically, but we won't go there. But there's 4. Yeah. I've always come from a big family, so I kind of feel like I've been suffocated my whole life.
Mm-hmm. Which a lot of people do. You see that happens a lot. They only have 1 kid, or they have no kids afterward.
Yeah, because you just feel like it's a lot. It's a lot to handle. I don't know if I could be as unbiased as I want to be if I had kids. So part of that plays in my head too. I don't want to be the person that says, "Oh, my favorite today is Ling Ning," or
it's an easy way to solve to that because you'll hate them all.
Of course, but you know what I mean.
They're such little shit. You will despise them most of the time. I must sound like a horrible mother. I love my children.
Oh, did you? I don't know if you watched Mar or not, but did you hear what Dr. Peterson said about that? About how a lot of parents do end up resenting their children.
Yeah, I was watching him.
I understand that a lot of people don't like Dr. Peterson, and he does come off, he sounds like Kermit the Frog, so it's kind of hard to listen to. But he brought up a lot of valid points about that, at least in my perspective. And I mean, I've witnessed it myself, where people's kids don't necessarily display the behavioral traits that they're looking for, and then they do end up resenting their children.
Yeah, I could see that. There's some kids that I wouldn't want to be the parent of, to be honest.
Oh my God.
Just ignore this guy. It's okay.
No, it's all good. Like,
So let's go on to this. I find this story really fascinating because, I always love these medical breakthroughs or medical advancements.
Yeah.
And I'll explain it while I was reading it. So this is from BBC News. U.S. soldier gets world's first penis and scrotum transplant. So this is a soldier that had everything blown off in the wars, and obviously didn't have any sexual function. He couldn't even pee like a normal person would pee. So he got the penis from a dead donor, obviously. The penis, part of the abdomen, and the scrotum. And while I was reading this, I thought, wait a minute, if he's got the scrotum, is he going to have like the guy's sperm in there? Is it going to make his sperm, or is it going to make the other guy's sperm? What's going to happen? But apparently they didn't give him the very next line was donor testicles were not transplanted. Yeah. Due to ethical considerations.
Well, that would be kind of hard to do, wouldn't it? Like,
I have no clue. I'm
not a fucking, I'm not a doctor, so I don't understand really how it fucking works. Like, but I mean, I couldn't see you being able to produce somebody else's fucking seed. Like, that sounds like it's something out of a fucking sci-fi book, in all honesty.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. It just seems like, but how long do sperm stay? See, now with a woman, your eggs are there from before you're even born. They just have to come to maturity. And I know sperm are made constantly. But how long would they stay in there? Like, so if you died yesterday, your scrotum or your testicles got implant it in somebody else today, would that semen, I know it stays in a woman for 7 days sometimes alive.
I'm
not sure about that.
That's crazy, because like you wouldn't be able to have sex anyway for a long time. That shit's got to heal.
Any type of adult surgery on our reproductive organs takes a long time to heal. I mean, we're adults. You know what I mean? Break a fucking bone right now, even me being 30. If I break a bone, that's you know, it's not healing for fucking 10, 12 years, like fully at least.
You're not, you're not a 10-year-old that heals in like 4 weeks. You're like, I'm okay, handstands.
It's so true, you know, like I broke my femur bone as a kid. Now, if I would have fucking had that break, even when I was like 16, 17, I'd still be living with a giant metal rod in my fucking leg.
My God.
But, I don't know. That's crazy, though.
And here's my other question. They said he will be able to have normal sex.
Eventually.
And he'll be able to, and he'll be able to urinate normally now, which is wonderful for this guy, as long as he doesn't reject it, I guess. But how's he going to have normal sex? Because he's not going to have semen. He doesn't have testicles. So is he going to have like a pump? Like, remember the pumps?
Oh my God.
I'm
not trying to be rude. I'm really, like, honestly.
I know. But
so there's two different substances when a man ejaculates. You have the semen and the ejaculate, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think he'll be able to produce the actual fucking semen.
Sperm.
The sperm, exactly. That he won't be able to produce, but I don't see a reason why.
Yeah, the seminal fluid comes from a different place, but I don't know if that part was destroyed. Because the vas deferens, right? That's where seminal fluid comes from.
Because to me, that just sounds like a man getting a vasectomy. They still can, you know, finish, but it's just there's just nothing swimming around when they do. So.
But what an amazing world. This guy's got a new shot at life, you know?
Well, hey, and it sets a precedent, right? Now all those, you know, all those white boys complaining about the white genocide can go get their little dinkies taken care of.
Oh, and when all the cops kill the black guys, they can get black guy penises donated to them.
Boom, done. Fucking play like a fucking season of Oz, right? Once the fucking Nazis find out you got some black flesh in you, they fucking cut you off. And
I don't know how I feel about this. This is not okay. Shockingly enough, as always, Ryan is. You guys have known me for a while. I don't ever talk about religion in that sense of, you know, blah blah blah. And this isn't about religion for me. I just don't know how I feel about stuff like this. It kind of skeeves me out.
A lot of people feel that way. It's normal.
I'm a little bit skeeved out, and not because, you know, oh God, that's disgusting. I think this is a great breakthrough in science. It shows us how far along we can move, but more in the sense of, so I may be sucking somebody else's dick.
Maybe a stranger's dick.
Yeah, like so technically I'm cheating. I mean, it's kind of kinky and hot, but I'm kind of cheating on you. Like,
I mean, it's really no different than, it's the same vein of fucking if somebody gets a kidney transplant or something. You know what I mean? You're still right. Like,
I wanna, you know, I want to be able to say, my God, your penis tastes good. I can't say that. I'd be like, you know, the dead penis attached to you tastes good.
It won't be dead. It's alive.
I know, but you know what I mean.
What's the difference between a dude who fucking, you know, ends up hooking up with a chick with fake tits? Yeah. I'm not enjoying your natural breasts. I'm enjoying the big old fucking sacks of silicone you got fucking banging around up there.
Yeah, but it's a little bit different. Like,
it is different because as men, we were taught that we're not allowed to change that stuff. And this kind of sets a precedent that now, hey, you know, if they can fucking sew a brand new penis on a dude, then, you know, for these guys that are really, you know, insecure about the size of their penises, they can actually fucking do something about it.
You know how they always say in these like third worlds where they like kill somebody to take their kidneys and their livers and stuff? Better be careful if you're packing a big one. That's all I'm saying when you're traveling.
Black market dick sales. Fucking hell.
Like these little guys that are always talking about their micro penises can have a big penis.
Yeah. I mean, it seems to be the fucking like fucking prevailing narrative on fucking Reddit all the time is all these fucking incels fucking talking about their dicks are little so they can't get laid. Like, no one cares if you're a fucking incel.
Get better with your mouth and your hands and you won't have any issues, okay? That's
all. Oh my God.
Just stop being a fucking mouth breather and maybe, you know, somebody will fucking find you at least interesting.
Exactly. Give you a shot.
I'm a mouth breather, okay?
Me too. I really am a mouth breather. Let's talk about this story quickly before we talk about Crazy Rich Asians. This story kind of ended on a light note because it's been a little heavy. This boy in Sydney, Australia, kept asking his mom he wanted to go to Bali. Wanted to go to Bali, which is a resort. right? And is it Indonesia?
It's a city in Indonesia that is like Australia's version of like the Caribbean for us.
Yeah. So his mom said no. So he tricked his grandma into giving him his passport. I don't know how. I guess he's a genius. He's 12. Yeah. And he stole his mother's credit card and he took his student ID and he flew to Bali on his own.
Yeah.
And he was there for like a week.
Yeah. The best part to me, though, was the fact that he rode his Razor scooter all the way to the fucking airport. Like, that is the most 12-year-old thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And then to find out that this fucking dastardly bastard fucking got on a fucking airline without any parental supervision after being rejected by 2 other airlines going, well, no, you can't fly by yourself. You're fucking 12.
Yeah.
Still figured out a way to get his ass on a fucking airplane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I give it up to the little bastard. Yeah. I give it up to the little fucker. Like, I really do.
I definitely could not have got onto a plane. I wouldn't even known how to get to the plane station, the airport. Like, this kid's a genius. He's going places.
What the fuck is this?
I like that he's going places. It's kind of true, though.
Literally, he went to Bali, so I guess who knows where he's going to. Now, the mother, she said that she is shocked and disgusted, and there's no emotion to feel what we felt when he found out he left overseas.
Yeah.
Well...
That's legit. Like, that shit's fucking hilarious to me. Like, you know what, kid? Like, give me a fucking email and I'll fucking sponsor some of your next fucking vacation because you earned it. Like, you literally earned it. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of funny if you ever read, obviously, there's locals in Indonesia that live in Bali, but you should take a fucking gander at what they think of the Aussies that go there to fucking vacation. It was some of the,
like them.
Oh, it's some of the funniest reading I've ever heard about them being drunk on the street, shitting and pissing all over them fucking selves.
Geez.
Like, oh yeah,
the Aussies love to party.
Yeah, they apparently don't know how to handle themselves abroad.
I'm sure it's not very much different than when we go down to like Cuba or Dominican, because I've heard people's stories. I remember this girl fell downstairs and broke her arm, and we were in grade 12.
Like, I'll admit, when I do get to go down south, like I do get, I don't want to say blacked out drunk, but I make sure I get my money's worth out of the fucking liquor. But never have I had to be fucking shoot off of a fucking store's porch by the fucking owner because I'm passed out drunk in a pile of my own piss, shit, and vomit. You know what I mean? Like,
saves that for his birthday in Canada.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got the healthcare here to
Yeah, you got to be careful.
That kid's a fucking legend. That kid's a legend.
Yeah, this kid. I mean, I'm sure he's grounded for life. But I'm sure he's walking around his schoolyard like, I'm a boss.
Oh yeah, that kid's a fucking hero. Like, he's an Australian hero already. Like,
oh yeah,
they're gonna have a holiday named after him. Like, this kid's this kid's legit. Like, I was reading that story this morning when I woke up, and I was pissing myself laughing at it. Like, it's just.
Oh, maybe they'll make a TV movie, and I'll be able to watch it online or something on Netflix. It should. Interesting, because what did he do? Like, I mean, once he got to Bali, like, that's the kind of story I want to know. What was happening?
Went and found a hotel, found somewhere found some fucking hookers, found somewhere that'd serve him fucking beer.
Oh, I'm sure he could have got beer. Yeah. Okay, Ryan. You want to talk about? Go ahead.
Do a little bit. I think a lot of people know I'm very excited about this movie coming out. Crazy Rich Asians. It's based on a book that Kevin Kwan had written. For the first time, I've been talking about this for a very long time, since we were on ADR.
Yeah.
And then when we were on True, I feel like there's no representation of Asians on in the movies.
Not a lot. Not realistic.
Not a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for the first time in God knows
Since
how long.
The Joy Luck Club.
Yeah. We actually have a movie that has a huge hype on it that is an all Asian cast.
And it has the appeal to not just, Asians going to see. I would watch this movie. It looks good. Yeah. I think it can cross over to all types of people.
The thing that kind of bothers me about that, though, is you can't put the onus all completely on Hollywood. Do you know what I mean? Like, have you checked out many Chinese movies with all Asian casts? I mean, I watch a lot of them, and they're fucking phenomenal.
Well, but mainstream. What I'm talking about, Arthur, for me, is like mainstream, right? Like, you think about it in the whitewashed world. Like, I grew up in the Philippines. And the superstars that we're familiar with is Angelina Jolie and Jennifer Aniston, just to kind of name a few.
Yeah.
But now there's a possibility we're going to know who. God, I don't even know her name. That's really sad. See? I don't know, but we're going to know her name, whoever she is. And of course,
she's the mom from Fresh Off the Boat. I love her.
Yeah, and then Michelle Yeoh is going to be on there too. Huge name in Asian
Justin Star Trek Discovery. Yeah,
I mean, I understand. Like, I do get it. I mean, I can't say that I completely understand. I mean, I'm white. I'm represented. You know what I mean? Like, I do get my fair share of representation. So I can't say that I understand on that level.
No, it feels nice. Like, I was watching the trailer and I felt like, okay, we didn't cast Emma Stone to play the Asian girl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And which actually really happened. And was it Hello Hawaii or whatever?
Yeah, the Aloha movie. Yeah.
This is me. Like, my niece can watch this 20 years down the line and she'll look at it and be like, I look like that kind of.
Well, I remember when Joy Luck Club came out and people were saying the same sort of thing, that it was an all Asian cast and it represented people and it was telling true stories, and then really there wasn't much sense, Mulan. Like, I don't know what else. Now you guys got another movie, another film, and hopefully it's more, because I think you're right. Asians are underrepresented. I mean, when Black people talk about not being represented, then let's turn to Asian people, brown people who are usually just either gangbangers or terrorists in movies. You know?
Like Asians don't have a representation of being kind of like cool or what's the word? Help me out here. Approachable. Typically, we're great in math. That's the stereotype that we have. And
playing your violin or your piano. Yeah.
And that we eat dogs and cats. Typically, like, this is the idea of what an Asian person is.
That's true, because I've been hearing that since I was a kid.
But now we're civilized people who speak English without an accent. Hi, we exist. Yeah. We're real.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, there's been not even just recent immigrants. I mean, you've had Chinese and Japanese in America for hundreds of years, 100 years at least now.
Decades, yeah. I mean, you think about it with me. I'm an immigrant. I don't know if you can sense an accent in me. I'm not trying. This is how I speak normally. Yeah, this is how I talk. But the story is that, especially the main character, Nick Young, he's an immigrant who's in New York teaching in NYU. Not to ruin the plot. There's nothing ruining about this. But he speaks English well. He's not, saying hello. Like he actually, or the idea of what we have. Who's the actor in Breakfast at Tiffany's? Mickey Rooney played him.
Oh, Mickey Rooney playing the Asian guy. Yeah.
We actually have a non-stereotypical idea.
Or even you probably wouldn't even remember this. When I was a kid, my dad used to make us watch. Charlie Chan, was that his name? He was like a Asian guy that would do solve mysteries, and apparently most of the people in that weren't even Asian. So,
I mean, again, the thing is
different time.
I do understand the whole Hollywood needs to be more diverse. They need to actually represent, your population with a little more accuracy. Okay, I get that, and it is fair to stereotype anybody of any racial demographic as a thug or good at math or a fucking store clerk is dishonest. But I mean, when that movie The Wall, I don't know if you've seen it, The Great Wall. There was a Chinese-made movie with
Matt Damon.
There was a lot of a lot of the same sentiment that we're having right now with that. Oh, they're whitewashing it. Well, no, it was a Chinese-made movie for the Chinese market, and they wanted big-named actors. Now, you cannot blame white people for being big-named actors in Hollywood, right?
No.
And I'm not blaming you. I'm not saying this is your sentiment, right?
I know.
But this is a lot of the sentiment that I see along these lines when people talk about this.
See, but that's the thing is, Ryan is not one of those. It just, my sentiment is, it feels good to be like,
included.
Oh, not included. No, to be able to say there's a movie about people like us now, and it's not, you know, oh, I could be Cinderella. I could be I could be, you know, the name like Nick Young. I could be Rachel Chu. I don't have to have that white name.
Constance Wu.
Anglicizing. Yeah, Constance Wu. There we go. I don't have to be, what's the word? I don't have to anglicize myself to fit in. Yeah, I mean, my name really is Ryan, though. Like, this is not a...
But isn't that kind of what the story is kind of about, though? Like, he's from a very, like, Asian family with traditional Asian kind of beliefs, and she's more Americanized, and she feels like she doesn't fit in with that sort of family. Isn't that the whole kind of story? Like, that's a real kind of story that people would have. You know, you growing up in America, do you feel the same as somebody who grew up in Philippines right now? You're very culturally different.
We are outsiders. Like, I feel like as an immigrant, it's funny to talk about this, because I was speaking about it with my aunt who was visiting here for a while, and I said to her, if you were to send me back to the Philippines to kind of visit, I would feel so out of place. I don't share the values, I think. I don't really hold the culture either. And I just plain don't have the interest that they have in whatever it is that they want to do. I don't, you know, like me, I'm not interested in, I don't know what people in the Philippines right now are interested in. I don't get the jokes either. I don't have that kind of humor. I have this kind of dry-esque New Yorker, bitchy kind of an attitude, and people there are a little too, like, call you ma'am and sir, and it's nice to feel like, okay, you can watch a movie and be like, oh yeah, this is, you know, because it's one thing to say, I like what you said, Arthur. You can watch a Chinese movie or a Filipino movie and be like, but that's your representation. But that doesn't represent Ryan, because I'm not.
No, you're an American. You're an American. You know what I mean? Like, that is what it is. And as I said, I do understand it. I get, I mean, for the most part, I can't say that I fully buy into the assumption that Hollywood whitewashes everything. My issue comes with where we're kind of at now. There's a series right now on Netflix called Troy. I don't know if you guys have watched it. I gave it a watch.
I tried. I didn't like it. Yeah.
Now, in combatants of this equal representation, what they're actually doing is they're now, I guess, people of color in movies or in TV shows, like Achilles in Homer's Odyssey, where, you know, Achilles is fucking described. He's of fair skin and fair hair, and what they make him in that show, a bald-headed African man. Now, I got no beef with him. I got no beef with it. The guy's actually a fine actor, but now you're looking at the complete opposite of it. So we're so into making everything diverse and everything being an equal representation. We're actually going backwards with it. You know what I mean? And now I understand, like, when you guys were talking about, what's his name, Mickey Rooney in that fucking movie, like, just completely abysmally fucking playing an Asian stereotype. That's fucking, for the time, I mean, I can understand why people accepted it, but that doesn't fucking fly anymore. We can't be those people. You can't
but we also can't have a black man play a white man, because it doesn't represent the story. No, but we shouldn't have.
But I think it can, because sometimes the story, how do I want to say it? Sometimes the story or the character doesn't necessarily have to be white. Now, if I'm playing Lyndon B. Johnson, it's going to have to be a white guy, right? But if I'm just playing some guy named, you know, Charlie Smith, I can be anybody. I can be an Asian person.
No, but I mean, like, if we're going to talk about, like, for example, like the Wall situation. Granted, that was a casting that was, I'm sure, approved because they wanted big name, big Hollywood.
Exactly. They wanted the biggest Hollywood name they could get into their flick, which is very on the mark for this new era of what I'm going to call Chinese Hollywood. You know, and again, they're producing amazing movies, and I really wish more people would give them a fucking chance. Like, they're producing very good movies. Now, I understand a lot of people don't want to watch with subtitles and the kind of cheesiness, even like, because they kind of go Bollywood a little with it. But even that, like, I watched this fucking Hindu movie the other day, Bahubali or something. It's something about some great Hindu epic. It was fucking great. Like, it was produced so well. The CGI was great. I mean, you got to deal with the cheesy fucking, you know, kind of Asian action style that they're into. Great fucking movie. Great fucking movie. Like, it was really well done. It just bothers me solely for the fact that, like, I mean, again, I can't speak as to misrepresentation. I'm represented.
I will say this about Hollywood, though. Now, this is not to say, because I do agree that there's not a lot of diversity. I think there's two problems with that. I think it's that if people aren't writing interesting stories for people to make movies out of, that's part of it, right? Yeah. So if you're not writing a story where there's a strong black lead or a strong Asian lead, what's Hollywood going to do? But part two, Hollywood has never, ever been afraid of taking a true story or a known story and twisting it to make it theirs. You ate that boat movie, U-853 boat movie. Yeah, that was about a British submarine that they turned into an American military story.
Well, I mean, again, that's a little different because, I mean, again, we also have to remember that the Americans need their Goebbels level propaganda to feel safe in their war machine. So, I mean, that's a bit of a false equivalency, I guess, but I do understand what you're saying. There has been a huge kind of I guess, culture in Hollywood where they do that, where they will shine everything in a pro-American light. Now, I mean, I do understand what Ryan's saying, and it would be nice if they finally start even giving that Goebbels level propaganda to visible minorities. You know what I mean? Like, I'm for it. Like, I understand equal representation, and I've kind of been about that for a long time. But what I don't kind of like is when you go above and beyond said equal representation to the point of where you're now conflating numbers to make it seem a little more diverse.
Oh, I agree.
Now, I'm going to give you a perfect example. Now, that news site we were talking about earlier, that channel we were talking about earlier, CP24. Now, a few years back, there was a big uproar about the fact that it doesn't exactly represent the diversity of the city of Toronto. There was more white people than there were people of color news anchors. And now when you look at it, the ratio is higher for people of color than it is white people, which isn't actually representative of the diversity of the city.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not saying I even have an issue with that. I just, as I keep saying, I just find that kind of stuff dishonest when we're playing that card to the point where it's almost revisionist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like and I don't want to say that because that's a real dirty kind of fucking saying. Like, I'm not saying that, you know, the city of Toronto is fucking trying to wipe out white people from the fucking landscape or anything like that. But it's just, I don't know, it's odd.
Well, it was like, I always said this about when they were so angry about Oscars So White. Remember a few years ago? And that no people of color were nominated for the big awards. I get being angry, but then the next year when there were so many people of color nominated, I kind of felt like now you're going to have an asterisk beside your name.
Yeah, it's a consolation prize.
Were you really, truly deserving of that nomination? Or was that, you know, just something that we have to make them happy? You know, and that's the thing. You have to write more stories. You know, they wrote that movie Moonlight, right? That one, not this year, the year before.
Yeah.
I hadn't watched it, but everybody said it's a great movie with great, strong leads. They deserve their awards, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You can't deny it. But and again, that to me is the biggest glaring example to why I think a lot of this is just kind of false. Because now you're giving adults consolation prizes.
Yeah.
You're giving adults participation ribbons. You know what I mean? I understand. I do. I mean, I can't. I sympathize, but I don't. I don't feel on the level of a person of color. Obviously, I don't. As I keep saying, I'm fucking white. I have representation. But isn't it a little more dirty to start giving out consolation awards?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Jada Pinkett Smith is always like, oh, Will Smith didn't get nominated. Well, you know what? He's an okay actor, but he ain't a great actor.
He hasn't put out a really good movie that, as far as I'm concerned, is Oscar-worthy.
Just because he was in a movie where he wasn't making a joke or blowing shit up doesn't mean he's getting an automatic nomination. Okay, bitch? Shut up.
Yeah.
He ain't no Idris Elba. That's my husband.
But even that, though, what has Idris Elba done to deserve an Oscar? Nothing. No, you know what I mean? He's never done. No, and I'm not saying he did, but you know what I mean? Like, but the sentiment is, but because he's black and because he has been in a major Hollywood production, that he should be in consideration because
my impressions, all the Golden Globes and Emmys for Luther, because that was fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, but the thing is, I agree 100% with Arthur on that. For me, it's when I see a beautiful movie, I don't focus on the person's skin color. I focus on the acting.
Yeah, exactly.
But it, like, for example, Crazy Rich Asians is not going to get any kind of Oscar nominations, I think.
You never know.
You never know.
Well, yeah. But at the same time, it's nice to see that. But at the same, like for me, for example, I love Meryl Streep. I love the movie that she did recently, The Post. loved what it was about, talking of, the whole Nixon situation and how we were really starting to question the First Amendment, the freedom of the press. Yeah. And I didn't focus on Meryl Streep being white. I focused on, this is about what was going on during that time. These are the people who were there, and fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to put it, it was Caucasian, it was white.
Well, and that's the thing. If you're showing any movie or you're making any story from, pre-60s, let's face it, most of the people are going to be white. If you're making a realistic movie about World War I, like Dunkirk, right? Yep. The evacuation of Dunkirk was essentially British soldiers. There weren't a ton of black soldiers, maybe serving in some other capacity, but not on the beaches. We have to be realistic, right?
In all honesty, I did have a problem with Dunkirk for that reason. I don't think a lot of people understand the amount of Sikhs and Algerians that fought for the British during World War II.
Were they at Dunkirk?
They were there.
I've never learned that.
It's something that's really glanced over a lot. I don't understand why a lot of people have a problem admitting that the Sikhs were in, even anywhere, wherever you have a Sikh fucking community, they're nearly almost always the first ones to jump up and volunteer their fucking lives to defend their host nation. They're fucking swell people. They really truly are. But yeah, no, I actually had a beef with that. But you're correct about most of the black soldiers at that point in time.
Because a lot of them weren't in battle. They're not in battle. A lot of times they were on like cleanup crews and kitchen duty.
Well, you're conflating the British with the Americans for that one, though.
Yeah.
In the Allies forces, the Brits, even the French, most of their black soldiers were in Northern Africa because it was easier to do insurgent type style warfare.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I don't know that much about it, so good. Yeah. Thanks for learning me some information.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, so we're gone over, and I know the big hockey game's on. I can hear my husband screaming in the bedroom.
I honestly haven't been fucking looking at the computer in the last fucking 30 minutes.
So we'll say goodnight. We'll be back on Wednesday. Thanks for listening. It was a pretty sad show, but thank you.
Oh, message retracted. Aw.
Bye.